All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order. It's about 7:12. There is a piece of paper going around. Everybody that's elector in the town of Bell, please write your name on there because this is a town meeting, meaning it's a meeting for the electors. So you will have to make motions, seconds, and vote on that to approve things. So you need to sign up on that piece of paper for the roll call. So next, if we could have everybody stand and face the flag for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing is approving the minutes of the last annual meeting.
So I will read them to you. Town of Bell Annual Town Meeting, 7 p.m. Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. The meeting was called to order at 7:00 p.m. Matt Lazort chaired the meeting. The Pledge of Allegiance was said. Annual meeting agenda, approval minutes of last meeting. Yvette Fleming made a motion to approve the minutes and Mark Eller seconded the motion. Unanimous decision approved. Annual treasurer's report. Jackie Ide made a motion to approve the report and Paul Eller seconded the motion. Unanimous decision approved. Selection of town attorney. Jackie Ide made a motion to continue using Spears, Carlson, Coleman. Jesse Casino seconded the motion. Unanimous decision approved. Selection of town assessor. Jackie Ide made a motion to use Northwestern Assessment Service and Judy Becker seconded the motion. Unanimous decision approved. Selection of bank. Janice Olson made a motion to have Chippewa Valley Bank as a town bank, and Eve Erickson seconded the motion. Unanimous decision approved. Selection of official newspaper. James Casino made a motion to have Ashland Daily Press as the official newspaper, and Judy Becker seconded the motion. Unanimous decision approved. Swearing in of town officers. Jesse Casino was sworn in as town supervisor. Gordon Anderson will be sworn in as town supervisor later when present. Set date for 2024 annual town meeting, April 15th, 2025. The date for the next annual town meeting was set for Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. New business, open period for questions and comments. Judy Becker, the coffee cart held at the community center this winter had 13 sessions with a total of 277 people and raised $259. Person of the Year Citizen Award. The award was given to Richard Dunn for his dedication to the town of Bell, especially keeping the grounds and cemetery beautiful and keeping everything functioning at the community center. At 7:20 p.m., Mary Beth Tillmans made a motion to adjourn the meeting and Jackie I seconded the motion. Unanimous decision. Respectfully submitted, Mary Beth Tillmans, clerk.
Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes of the last annual meeting? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the previous year's annual meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
The motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. The annual treasurer's report.
There was a copy of it that was placed out on the table so everybody could see. Janice has provided those figures for you, and also provided was a collapsed, condensed form of the profit and loss, and also the general ledger at the end of the year last year.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. Now we need to select the town attorney. It is currently Spears, Carlson, and Coleman. Is there any discussion or motions?
I'll make a motion to retain Spears, Carlson, and Coleman as our town attorney.
I seconded.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. All opposed say aye. There is no opposed. Select town assessor. Currently is North Wisconsin Assessment Service, Inc. Is there any discussion or motions?
I'll make a motion to continue with,
North Wisconsin Assessment Service.
yes, thank you.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. We need to select the town bank. It is currently Chippewa Valley Bank. Is there a motion or discussion?
I make motion to approve Chippewa Valley Bank as a bank.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion is made and seconded. Is there more discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. We need to select our official town newspaper, and we only have one choice, so you better make this your choice. It's the Ashland Daily Press.
I'll make a motion to keep the Ashland Daily Press as our town newspaper.
I'll second that.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say aye. No opposed. We need to swear in town officer. Mary Beth, where would you like to start? Great. I, Matt Lausrick, having been elected to the office of chairman, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kenny Roman. Right here.
I, Kenneth Rowland, having been elected to the office of supervisor, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Thank you. Gordon Anderson?
No,
No. Wasn't Paul.
supposed to be Paul.
Paul Ellers.
I, Paul Ellers, have been elected to the office of supervisor, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Thank you. Janice Olson.
I, Janice Olson, Having been elected to the office of treasurer, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability, so help me God.
And then I'm next, Mary Beth Tillmans. I, Mary Beth Tillmans, having been elected to the office of clerk, swear that I support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge duties of said office to the best of my ability, so help me God. Yes, and you do this.
All right, now we're gonna set the date for the 2026 annual meeting, and that will be Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. Is that correct?
The third Tuesday is April 21st next year.
Okay,
It should be corrected.
21st,
Correct.
so it'll be April 21st,
I make a motion
2026.
that the annual meeting be
Wait a
April
minute.
21st, 2026.
I'll second.
The motion is made and seconded for Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say aye. No opposed. Okay, now we have town roads presentation from Matt Hipsher. Matt, you have to use the mouse on that. The pad does.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Matt Hipsher. I think I know most everybody in the room. Going to introduce Richard Dunn because he's here, and then Art Hyde's the other person that we work with to maintain the roads and facilities of the town of Bell. So this is just a brief overview. Since I've given this presentation last, we have actually more roads in the town of Bell. We've acquired, I think, about 4 more miles of road, and most of there's no residents on it. It's mostly forest access roads. And of these roads, and this is the big notes for me, for you guys, is that 37 miles of them are native soil roads. And in our great, big, wonderful town of Bell, we have less than 9 miles of asphalt paved roads in this town. 37 miles roughly of gravel roads. And each one of these roads we have to maintain in a different way. As like this morning, when we woke up to 3 inches of snow on top of the hill, scraping blacktop and plowing snow on blacktop is way nicer than trying to do anything. We didn't do anything on the gravel roads. We couldn't. It was too soft. So now, can I just do that? There we go. And so this is just in a perfect world, this is how all of our roads would look. Proper cross slope, ample drainage, and plenty of material. The highlighted blue area is how most of our roads are. We have them crowned up from the edge of the native soil, whatever they are. And most of the gravel's in the middle of the road because that's where all you guys drive. Just saying.
Matt, quick question.
Yep.
Briefly, what's the difference between a native soil road and a gravel road?
Native soil is basically whatever was there. So it'd
It's not maintained or?
no, it's we try not to have grass.
Okay,
A native soil road would be native clay, sand, native materials that are native to the area right there. Which, for instance, like North Stone Road, if you're familiar with that, gravel road's going to have improved. We can improve some of our native soil roads with gravel. We're kind of fortunate with the sand roads that we have out in the barrens that we don't necessarily need to improve them with gravel because other than the forestry use out there, and then we have a whole another set of problems trying to support log truck traffic on a native soil road. But historically, all of our roads were native soil. If we dig down far enough, they all have clay or a sand sub base in some places. I got stuck the other day on Mountain Road trying to drag the road because there was a sand pocket and it had a bunch of water and I just sunk. Yeah. So,
thanks.
okay. And And then we're just gonna talk really quick about different crowns. And what we've been trying to do, you have a parabolic crown, which is the easiest to achieve, but it's not the best for the roadway. Our best is like the A-frame road in the middle there that we try to achieve. And we've got carbide insert bit blade on the grader to keep that more true. And by keeping it at a constant cross slope, it helps the water shed off in a uniform manner, helps prevent potholing. And the ultimate, what they've done in studies is a 4% cross slope on a gravel road. Most of our asphalt roads are 2%. So that's what we're striving for. Best we can usually get on most of our roads is about 3%, just with the materials we have. But we have been getting better. And this is a very subjective measurement because we're basing it off the cross slope we have on our grader. But our higher traffic roads, like let's say the Mountain Road or some parts of Stage, we try to get those closer to 4% because they're higher use, higher volume roads. So they're the ones that always require the most maintenance. What else do I have on there? There's a good little tidbit. For 3 inches of gravel on a mile of a 22-foot wide roadway, we need 2,000 tons of gravel. Okay, so just like everything, our annual gravel budget that we spend, we're trying to maintain this gravel. So that's why we don't maybe plow the road when it's marginal, because we're trying to keep this investment that we've had. And there's also further on in this presentation, I'll talk to us about dust suppressant. What we're trying to do is hold our gravel. The amount of money the town spends in gravel throughout the years is a huge, huge investment. I mean, not only on our asphalt roads too. So there's a lot of what we do that is trying to prevent or protect our huge infrastructure investment that we've made over these years. And then there's this thing that happened last summer. So this was actually on North Stone Road. I'm sure everybody realized we had a pretty good flooding event last year. So this is what we found on North Stone Road. This is probably the most, other than Carl's Road, was the most horrific. We came there after the fact because nobody lived down this road. We found it a week after we had gotten everything else opened up. And this is what we found. We were able to salvage the pipe and everything was fine, so that was North Stone Road. This is what Mr. Dunn got to wake up to. This was Carl's Road. This was us finding that. And this was us trying to get him access out to the rest of the world.
To the dump truck.
Yeah, to the dump truck for RDL. This was East Spirit Point. And this was the Siskiwit River at Mountain, just past Jared's place. And it had already drastically receded from the time, because when I first found it at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I was over by Jared's house where you see that little reflector. And I've never saw the water over the road that far in that segment. So this is the Siskiwit River. And leading into that, the Siskiwit River at Mountain Road, there's a potential that we're going to have a project coming up in the near future. And we've been working at this for over 5 years with a bunch of people. We had a bunch, Sean Hassel from the Wisconsin, she's our DNR liaison with the towns, put together this big group of people, Bayford County Land and Water Conservation. We were trying to find ways to fund this pipe. And this is a 7-foot culvert on.
What was his name?
Who?
The DNR liaison?
That was Sean Hasselu. It's a female. Sean.
Hassel what?
Hasselu. I cannot pronounce. Don't quote that. So this is a undersized pipe at best. I did some really preliminary. It's supposed to pass about 2,000 cubic foot per second water flow on the watershed. with the 7-foot diameter pipe and the fact that it's inverted. So that means the outlet is actually higher than inlet. The pipe is failing. It passes at best 380 CFS. So the fact that the road is still there is just because of the bank full width. Means that it's not focalized in one spot, like, not like it is down here where we have the bridge. So, but Bayfield Land and Water Conservation has done the survey work on this already. We have a plan in place. This is going to be, it'd be an aluminum box culvert. Construction could start if we're funded in 2026. Roughly 7 to 10 day closure. Most of that's going to be assembling the pipe. So we're still working out some logistics. We got to figure out more as it gets closer if we can expedite that. But it's going to propose to be a 21-foot aluminum box culvert. So we'll have a bottom, but it's going to get dug in and buried deeper. So the structure's rigid that way. And then we have a native soil bottom for fish-friendly passage. And then we'll talk a little bit about our very important gravel. And I'm kind of in my previous life, I used to be a materials guy for a paving company. So a lot of these are just numbers to you guys, but you don't like running over big rocks when you're driving on the road, right? Bigger rocks. And so this is most of what we try to have on our surface material. So 97% or more will pass a 3/4 inch sieve. And then this is the big, the binder or our dust, or that is the big, what is it? It's a size material that is very easy for us to obtain around here because we have so much clay and fine sand, but it's also one of the hardest things for an aggregate producer to produce. So that leads us also into this dust control. So after we looked at that gradation, the number 200 or our binder is what holds a roadway together. It has the most surface area. If you think about it, a handful of rocks or let's say a handful of peas versus a handful of sand. If you're trying to coat everything, the handful of sand has far more surface area than the handful of peas or pieces of rock. So this binder, we have to have it helps hold everything together, has more surface area, can retain more water. So when we're doing a lot of our maintenance work in the summer, we're also trying to keep that moisture in our road because the moisture helps hold everything together. When you run over a road and it gets all washboardy, we start getting float rock. That's when we're starting getting a lot of dust. We're also losing a lot of our material that we paid dearly for to dust. So one little tidbit in there, if we have 50 vehicles a day, which most of our roads are in that, at least that, our residential roads, during the summer, if we don't have any dust treatment or dust control on that, we're on average losing a ton. What did I have? About 750 tons of material a year on the 15 miles of primary gravel roads. So that's about 25% of our road budget a year. So it is, and we've had this dust control program in place for many, many years now. And I'm guessing the only thing we've ever heard is that we want more. So it's a good program. Nobody seems to have any complaints other than that we don't have enough of it. So any questions on this? That's the tentative areas that we've always used or have applied our calcium chloride. I got two different colors because we use different application rates. There's certain spots like over by Swenson Field over there, first leg of stage with the two corners, XL, D-cell areas, and full sun that we have annually applied it at full strength. Another one over here, that second mile of Siskiyou Lake Road, same thing, high volume traffic or high velocity traffic, full sun. areas where we start getting a little more shade, we can speed up the application. It's not a very scientific. I'm trying to act like it's very scientific. We make the truck go 7 miles an hour or 14 miles an hour when he's applying it. So I mean, it's not rocket science. But what we've been able to do is get more miles treated in our township at the same overall cost. Although the cost of the calcium chloride's been going up drastically too. Along with the fact that we did some flake where we spread it ourselves with a truck. Now the companies that we've been buying them from is not willing to sell such small quantities, even though for us it was like 20 tons a year that we were buying. They don't want to sell that to us. So some of the hopes, go ahead.
Did you previously, or have you done traffic studies to see how much traffic are on these various road sections to determine your amount of salt use?
Not as much as us, the ones that are maintaining it, can tell you the spots that we have to go to more frequently. So those are the ones we try to target more, if you know what I'm saying. So like, let's just say on Stage Road here, we have a bunch of different segments. The corners, XL, decel areas. Another corners up here, kind of like by the gravel pit, by Hank's or Randy's, starting by like Randy's place. Through there, that corner gets, because you have vehicles slowing down and accelerating. And not everybody just rolls on the gas nice and light and hits on the brakes nice and soft. I'm sorry. Everybody's in a rush nowadays. So those are the areas that will always start chopping, because you're getting some more, you're trying to change the inertia of your vehicle or get that mass moving or stopping. So now, without me sounding too much like a geek, part of the reason why we start seeing that washboard is because you're getting particle to particles are starting to roll. And once they start, you're compacting them with your tire, even though they're the road. We've been compacting them. We have a roller. We've been doing this. But as you start accelerating, there's a little wave that's rolling. And when you start rolling over that wave, that starting that cyclical bang, 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 bang. Because we're not that good. We can't make that happen like that. So that's just the general of the areas. And part of the reasoning behind this too, like on Romans Point up here, everybody lives out here has to drive across the stretch. Everybody. So, I mean, to the T, we do have some that come off of Mountain Ash. Actually, there's a lot more people coming off of Mountain Ash now. But this stretch is our highest stretch, hands down. On same thing on Blueberry Lane. We try to get some. We have another issue on Blueberry Lane. We can't treat because we can't get a truck turned around at the end. So, and then.
Do you also do the maintenance for the state natural area at the end of Blueberry? Or is that state property?
That's state property. Yeah.
So you guys wouldn't have any jurisdiction there? Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anything else? And then our goal, this is the same thing. So we try to be proactive, not reactive. Anytime you guys see something, please let us know. We can't be everywhere at all times. So we appreciate phone calls. I mean, with our plastic toys, it's pretty easy. I have a lot of people's phone numbers in this room. So don't be afraid to text me, call me, because dispatch doesn't have a problem doing it either. So, and other than that, anybody else have any questions?
You guys are doing a good job.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
Matt,
Can
can we, if we wanted to increase the paved roads, would that pay for itself over time, do you think?
Do I think so? Yes. Yes, I do. I do.
Okay.
I mean, but it's going to be hard to quantify because you have to take into account our lessened maintenance. So on it, it gives us other times to do other things. Okay. That's what the calcium chloride has really done. We've been since I've been working for the town, we've been doing a lot of ditch cleaning. I mean, That's why I was so disgusted when we had this flood, because I had gotten I've been through 300-year floods now or whatever since I've been working here in the last 15 years.
1,000 years.
Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, Mountain never washed out the last 2 times. Yay, we won, but then we got sucker punched other spots. So, I mean, there's always work to be done. There's always improvements to be made. We've been replacing a lot of our culverts. I can honestly say there's only like 2 pipes off the top of my head that I know need to be replaced this year, and one of them was in my driveway. So I think that I'm very proud of where we've come in the last number of years. We're good strides. We still have the deeper fill pipes, like on old 13 there, right by edge of George Sweater's field. That one needs to be replaced. It's failing. That one I think is on the list. We have some deeper fill pipes on Sisquit Lake Road by, I think with the start of Lost Creek number 2, that it's really deep fill. We need to get a liner in there. We have some on one place on Stage Road where when I was out checking roads that day during the flood, I was lost. I did not understand why there was water coming over the road here. But I think we call that, I don't know what we call that, Thompson Creek over that way. I mean, but it was coming over the road, and that flood that we had, it flushed so much debris down there, plugged up all these pipes. So that was our biggest problem. But we have some liners we need to put in, and if we could get to at some point paving some more roads, it would be great. And there's some opportunities coming down the road when like Town of Bayfield finishes their part of Star Route. It would be a great time for us to have a joint project where we paved at least some stretch of Mountain Road and Happy Hollow, or not Happy Hollow, but Star Route, that stretch segment there, because that's Star Route, or no, Mountain Road is our highest traffic use road in our town. Hands down.
Really?
Hands down. Yep. And it's not necessarily from Town of Bell residents either.
Right.
You know, but it's just the truck traffic getting raw forest products out of there and the tourist traffic. And, you know, like when we had the flood, that was the only way to get over to Bayfield at the time. For a long time, when Highway 13 was closed. So yes, I do think paving would be
It's pretty expensive, isn't it?
it's very expensive. It's ridiculously expensive right now, in my opinion. So, I mean, there's ways to minimize the cost of the town. If we do the shouldering, that's a big cost that we can save. And if we do most of the dirt work and do most of the graveling, and that's what we're also simultaneously working towards. We're trying to get all of our culverts replaced, ditches, drainage improved. So at some point when we won't have such sticker shock when it comes time. Anybody else got any questions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you've ever done this presentation before. This is great. Thank you.
This is some different, yes, I've
No, thank
done
you
some
very much.
different ones.
Great.
Good, thanks. I enjoyed being able to talk to everybody.
So now, do we have any questions or comments for the town meeting portion? Yes.
Yeah, if you don't have, the, maintenance necessary to do the state natural area, why are you enforcing town ordinances on that property that doesn't belong to the town?
I'm not gonna answer that right now. You can submit that if you want.
I've been submitting questions to you every single day since last Friday. You haven't replied to a single one.
All right, maybe after a couple more I will then. Is there any more comments, questions?
Yes, here.
All right, moving on. Person of the year. It's Jackie Ida. Running away from us, you're still gonna get person of the year for all you've done for the town, so thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think everybody else will say the same thing, so, thank you.
Thank you.
So now, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
The motion is made and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye, there's no opposed. Now we're gonna take, 10 or 15 minutes, and there's some cake and coffee over there, then we're gonna go into the board meeting of this evening, so. Go ahead and have some coffee and socialize. It wasn't, who seconded the adjournment? Did you second?
I didn't.
I don't even remember.
Seconded the adjournment.
Thank you.
Okay.
They slow down and they speed up on the way down, speed up and down, and then they get in the track. And then they break up the car, break it on one side, walk on the other side. You wouldn't think that. But at the bottom of the mile of ice. Yeah. You like Dr. Ox, I mean, Apples, boulders.
Yeah, like the monkey cakes, monkey bread, or whatever.
Yeah, we can get it up. That's what I asked you about.
I threw a science fiction.
What?
I just call it science fiction. But it's science Every few minutes, almost everybody has thumbs up. I was the only one thumbs up. That was only because I read it the second time and I got so annoyed. And I didn't, so I all this crazy stuff. And then the second time I read it, attitude. Hey, just move on. I don't understand it, just move on. You know, they say all these oh, I got some dessert. Yeah. Some frosting, some cake on my
Yeah, up there.
Nice job, Matthew. He has one tax bill, he asked me to present a percentage for tax, I'm gonna do that, and that's why I'm starting off. Today's April 15th, he's had. Got some appointments lately. Needs to listen, wants to get them done. That's what it is. Always during the recess. I'm not going to remember. Yeah. My mom. It's pretty good. Oh, there you go. Yes. Ask him what he's about to do. Ask him what he's about to do.
So, Sunday evening, we're flying Watch this one today. Watch this one today. Fingernails are clean. Yeah. I do it because there's very little supervision. Those jobs that have got a lot of supervision.
Someone with a slave driver.
My boss was Jane Harrington.
Yeah, Jane was the boss.
There are other bosses around.
They take their turn. Yeah. Just anywhere.
The museum will be open till 8.
Just a reminder.
What's once? Not so much anymore. We're going back to the city, so
Take a deep breath. Here it comes. It's trying to be funny.
Go ahead, writing them up. Anybody you're getting them? It's the cornywi.org.
No, it's the bell.
Which website was built by Paul Ellis?
That's not long. What's our next meeting on? Thanks, John.
Is he a?
All right, everybody, we're gonna get started here.
You look good sitting there, Kenny.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Looks like he fits right in.
Got the folders.
Yeah.
Now you gotta get a spot.
You gotta pay off all the rides.
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. It's 8:11. Everybody on the board is present. Welcome, Ken, to third board meeting. We already did the Pledge of Allegiance at the last meeting, so we will skip that. Minutes of the previous board meeting. Has everybody reviewed?
Are those the same one that posted on the website? Yes.
I move we accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
The motion is made and seconded to accept the minutes of the previous board meeting. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say aye. There's no opposed. The clerk's report.
All right, we had our election on April 1st, and it went very well. Thank you to all the election inspectors. They did a phenomenal job. Thank you. I did complete the town C form, which was submitted to the state, which is basically an account of all our records that we have here, as well as anything they had submitted to me. So that has been completed, and all is good.
All right, thank you. The treasurer's report.
Yeah, so that's not on the web, Kenny.
No, I picked up a copy.
Okay.
Actually, there was, I did see one on the web.
Yeah, I took it off.
Yeah.
We decided we weren't gonna put it on.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the treasurer's report. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say aye. No opposed. Board comments?
Got a couple comments. We had an email problem over the weekend, and I'm so happy that we went with a local provider for our web service, because he got it fixed in just a few hours on the weekend. Whereas if we had gone with somebody else, they probably wouldn't have even have started looking at it until Monday.
That's not accurate. Your website's been down much.
No, this is not a meeting of the public. This is a board meeting now. If you want to make a comment, we do have 2 public comment periods on the agenda.
You guys just allowed to lie?
Yes, they're gonna let me lie, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I know, I'll be.
No, don't engage. No, this is a board meeting. This is not a meeting of the electors. Please continue.
So anyway, the emails are fixed, and I'm very, very happy that we went with a local guy. I just think it's really important.
Well, thank you for all your help.
That worked out good. And then the other thing, I talked to RD and Tasha, and so we're gonna do a corny cleanup. We didn't think we wanted to brave Earth Day. You just never know what the weather is in April, so we're gonna set that for May 3rd. It's a Saturday, the first Saturday in May at 9 a.m. and we'll send out an email to see if anybody wants to help us. But we'll be just going around town and on the main roads in your neighborhood. And we'll have plastic bags for you to use, or if you use your own, when you bring them up to the recycle center, or if you leave them, we'll pick them up. There won't be any charge for the cleanup that we do. And so that'll be May 3rd at 9 a.m. We'll meet here at the community center.
What time, Paul?
9 a.m.
Board comments? Yes.
Last Tuesday morning, I met with Kathleen Russell, and she was representing Landmark Conservancy for the annual survey of the property that's under conservancy, that's better known as the Corny Beach. And so I met her down there, and we just walked the perimeters of it, basically walked up and down the beach, and she took photos that were GPS located so that she could have an annual representation of what it looked like from one year to the next. And so we walked the whole area, and she's got it all documented. Everything looks good. And we saw the sign for the end of the beach, where it was. The post is there, so we know exactly where it should be. So anyway, it was educational for me. So.
All right, thank you. Any more board comments? Correspondence? We did receive correspondence from Greg Weiss, but since he's here, we're gonna have him address that under public comments. Committee reports?
The short-term rental committee met, and we have 10 short-term rentals that we are going to recommend for approval tonight. And that gives us a total of 15 for the year. So we're still expecting to get up at least probably another 10 before summer hits.
And then we had a Harbor Commission meeting last night. I forgot my notes, so I'll give you an overview. We had somebody there from the Corps of Engineers discussing the dredge, which is gonna happen later this summer, supposed to dredge the marina. We also approved the sauna, or the lease for the sauna. We have to come up with a lease and approve an actual lease yet, but that was okayed pending the lease approval. There's also gonna be some work done on the wells down there. They need some repair work done. Matt Hipsher is taking care of that with our well guy. And there's gonna be Wi-Fi hooked up for boaters. I think that's an overview. Any questions? No. Sanitary district.
Mr. Chair, supervisors, staff, residents, and other attendees. Today's April 15th. President Mark couldn't be here as a CPA. He had made some commitments today, and he asked your permission and forgiveness. As you know, the Bell Sanitary District is developing a plan to expand its treatment capacity. The current issues date back to 2021, when we exceeded our approved treatment capacity. Since then, and especially in the last 2 years, we've been closely monitoring the treatment levels on a monthly basis. In 2025, our engineering firm developed a proposal with an estimated cost of $2.8 million. We contacted Senator Baldwin's office to request this amount as a congressionally authorized expenditure. Now, the advantage of doing that is it comes from the federal government as a grant. It's not a loan that has to be repaid. And so the other funding option that we have is with Wisconsin DNR. They'll forgive about $2 million. They'll fund the project usually, but forgive about $2 million, which leaves the remainder as a cost to the district and the people we're serving. About 2 months ago, that request that was on Senator Baldwin's earmark was discontinued by the current administration, and she suggested that we reapply, which we did, and we met the timeline a week ago yesterday. And so we have now a proposal in for it, and you've seen that over there, and Gary Strand was here and presented a request for $3.4 million, which is the cost now. As of the end of March, an update, the months of January and March this year had the highest amounts of hauled waste from septic tanks since in the 20 to 25 period. March and January were the highest ever. February was the third highest. So the first quarter of this year is the highest we've experienced in the last 5 years. And 2021 was when we went over. course, we're having discussions about things that we can do, and we'll keep you informed. Questions? That's there in my notes and the things I covered.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, public comment period. We have public comments?
Yep.
Yes,
We go up there, just sit here.
right there.
Okay, I've been sending a transient emergency complaint to the city, Matt Lazarick, since Friday. He hasn't acknowledged any of my complaints. Today, he refused to acknowledge my complaint or act on my complaint about a transient merchant operating in the city. And I guess I just wanted to point out to you guys that that is a misuse of his power. Also, Matt Lazarick took an opportunity in the August Town Hall Council meeting last year to say that I'm a pain in the ass and that I am associated with a business that I am not associated with. And he is violating your code of ethics. So you got a town chairman here that's way out of line in the way he's operating in his position of power. And you also have a merchant, a transient merchant ordinance here that's being misused by Matt and others to selectively enforce against only one business. So last year they tried to say that Chris Prysock couldn't get a permit because he was associated with me, and that's not true at all. And where in this permit does it say that you can't be associated with me? So there's just a very clear violation of this transient merchant and the way it's being used. And I guess I'll go through some other things here. You've got a conflict of interest, self-dealing with Paul Ellers. He financially gained from the website being built, and he's on your town board. So that's totally against the law. You have selective enforcement of ordinances. I've tried to get the transient merchant ordinance enforced on anyone but me, and it won't be. I've tried. I've sent emails and text messages. If anybody wants to see them, I've got them all very well recorded. We'll be going to the state and seeking some rectification here. Denial of public access to complaint process. Again, Matt refuses to even receive or act on any of my complaints. Failure to recuse in conflict situations. You got Greg Weiss, who just resigned. You got Paul Ellers. They shouldn't be any part of anything that brings them any financial gain. And Greg's part of the tourism industry. He's been voting on things that affect that. And now he's going to be here the day after he resigns to get a special use permit. That's coincidence. Greg, I don't know. Can I ask Greg a question while I'm doing my public comment?
No, you can't.
I'll make this statement. Greg Weiss was my professor in college. He worked for me for a year before he ever had a business. He sat down with the Black Cat Coffee Company, told me how we were going to start a business together, took all my ideas, and opened his business the next year. Furthermore, I went to his special skills for wilderness, whatever the heck, and he used my photo on the Northland College magazine without ever paying me or asking me. So you've got a guy who took my ideas, he violated a fiduciary duty as a professor, and then he built his business on it, and now your town is creating a monopoly for him and preventing me from ever being able to compete. I guess I'll keep going here. Town officials gaining office for personal gain, so that's again Paul Ellers with his benefit from the website. He should have no part of that. And yeah, defamation, retaliation at a public meeting. Matt Lazarick's got such a problem with me that he calls me a pain in the ass. That's you're using your office in public like that to try to change people's opinion about me. That's against the code of ethics as well. He's in many violations of the code of ethics. And then if you guys are going to say that a transient merchant is anybody, because they've been telling us that just simply by even seeking a donation, we would be in violation of the transient merchant ordinance. Matt, wouldn't that be correct? That's the same response I get from Matt every time I ask him something. Well, if that's the case, you're going to have to start holding the transient merchants accountable for dumpsters, container services, construction contractors, live music at Matt's bar, cleaning and landscaping crews, mobile repair services, etc. And you have never used them at all on anyone else except me. So I guess that's the point I want to make, is that I've told you guys as a town about the violation of misuse and the code of ethics violations for your town chairperson. I've been sending him emails and text messages since Friday with no response. I tried to approach him tonight to make the thing, and he also ignored me again. You can see him ignoring me now. And I guess this is what our lawyer told us to do before we sue the town, which is let you guys rectify it yourself. You now know the many violations that against the code of conduct of 2 of your officers on your town council. And I guess that would be the end of this, because I've told you everything you need to know. Your transient merchant ordinance is not being enforced properly, it's being selectively enforced, and a couple of, at least, of your town council meetings are in violation of your own code of ethics and conduct. And the state has many of those as well. And defamation against me, saying that I'm a part of a business and then denying that business's permit because of my association, it's another big violation. So I hope you guys remove Matt Lazarick from your town board. I'm done.
Is that it?
Yep.
Thank you. Public comments? Yes.
I'd like to make a request that when we have public comments or whatever, for those of us that don't necessarily know everybody in this town, I don't know what the procedure is, but it would be nice if they could state their name and if they're residents or if they're just visitors and things like that for some of us that are newer to the community. I don't know if that's possible to request that at public comments.
Thank you.
But I'm Judy Becker, Cornucopia.
Good example. Thank you. Public comments? Yes.
Hi, Bruce Ellers, resident. I'm just curious, I know you got the new website now, and I kind of walked through it a little bit and looked for some things on there. How much issue would it be, or how much problem would it be? Like for instance, on the board meetings, like you have all these variances that come up and applications for, rentals and things like that. And we didn't really have no idea where they're at or who's doing the variance, whatever. How difficult would it be to scan that stuff and put it on your website before they come up to your board meetings?
Just to comment on that information is available at Bateville County zoning.
I've looked there several times and they don't post anything until it's approved. And your issue is to approve it and then it gets put on there. Because I called them, I said, where's this stuff? They said, has it been approved? I said, no. Well, we don't post it till it's approved. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other public comment?
I'd just like to remark that we had another senior housing meeting, and I did distribute the minutes to everybody on the board. They were happy to answer any questions you might have. One of the, just to say a little bit about it, we have finalized the purchase agreement with the purchase agreement so that we can control the land. And the report from the charrette that we had should be done by our next meeting, which will be in May. And as many of you may remember, the charrette was suggesting somewhere around 20 units. But for numerous reasons, we're focused now on somewhere between 4 and 6 units. And if we have more demand, then we'll suggest more. At any rate, this is still just a plan. Obviously, it's not action because you haven't authorized it. But we're doing all this work to try to deliver a plan to you that you can look at with all the details you need. I don't know if there's any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got another public comment.
No, you're done.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. You got public comment? I need to go twice. I
No.
just checked the state laws. I
You
just checked the state
no,
laws. You
you-
wanna be in violation again, Matt?
No, John, that's.
So you guys
No,
are using the
no,
town
no.
harbor as
You take out enough time.
as a commercial? Is it
No.
commercial, Matt? How do you use it?
We're
Commercial?
done.
Because you're letting somebody get a transient merchant to operate in the marina commercially, correct?
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
moving on. We're done talking. This is done. We're done.
No, that's not true. I just looked up the law.
No,
Yeah.
You
okay,
took-
so
you
you're
took
gonna
your
give me
time,
the ability to
no.
Do a public comment? I'll go ahead and allow you to do that.
all right, we're gonna take a
That's your point.
recess. We're gonna take a recess and we'll come back in 10 minutes.
Like, you make public comments, that's public comment section. We'll ask you public comment, right?
Okay, I'm gonna close it down.
Matt, are you gonna answer my question at all?
Is yours swimming? Yes.
Don't go too far. we're gonna-
He's right now, he's, actually totally wrong right now. Thank you. I understand the law and the written law.
2 minutes.
Very careful. Okay. Well, exactly.
Welcome to the board.
Recording poster.
Remember all that, Greg? Was that all accurate? No. Oh, no, it wasn't accurate, you never sat down on a bike cab with me? You ever swerve your car on the highway?
What?
You don't remember? I got the Facebook list. Oh, sorry, I thought you were somebody else. Now you remember.
Thank you for the country.
I know.
I was not fixing
Well, when you argue with that, you're an idiot. Those are nice. With merit. Yeah. Get your, I had to get a copy of this. Thought I had it on my phone, but I didn't.
All right, we're back in order. New business, town contracting to plow private driveways. This is initiating a discussion on it. We have several things to talk about. First of all, we need to think about probably capping the number of private driveways we plow. We probably are getting to have too many because right now we have 2 full-time people and 2 part-time people plowing when it snows. And in the case where we get down to 2 people, as years go on, or if there's people sick or injured, whatever, we don't have the manpower to plow everything all at once. So we probably need to be in a place where we can plow the public roads first and then get the driveways if we have to or need to. So I need to think about that. Secondly, we need to probably change the way we charge. Right now, we charge for the season. And in some ways, it's not fair. It's either too cheap or too expensive, depending on the year. So the town of Bayfield has a different system. They keep track of everything and charge until the end of the year, basically. So I think we need to think about a system that's more like that. So I'm looking for some discussion right now before we really start anything. But so what was, is there any input?
Is there, I guess, are there enough private contractors to cover the plowing that needs to be done if the town doesn't do it? I'm just asking, I don't know.
I don't know. I think so. I don't know how much that would change. Matt, do you know how many driveways we have total?
Around 60.
60.
I don't know exactly, it changes every year. I think Critter and I are both doing around 30. Somewhere in that ballpark.
So whatever, if we decided to cap that at a number that's that number or lower, it wouldn't change the amount that like private people would have to do, I'm assuming. So if we took 20 or 30 off of that, divided by the number of people, I don't know if that would be an issue, but I mean, it's something to consider. But, I mean,
I think if we went to, if we didn't do any private, it would be a hardship. That might be hard,
especially in 1 year,
yeah, especially when you're.
it kind of costs a lot for us to do it.
For the town.
For the town, yeah. And I mean, in a way, if we're not charging enough, all the taxpayers are subsidizing private driveways. So,
You thought about it as piecemeal? How many times you go in there? It's 5 times a year versus 25 times a year?
that's basically what I'm saying. I think we should go to something like that, where it would be actually the most fair way to do it for the town and the people that pay us would be to keep track of how much time it takes. And then charge a certain amount per hour, total for the year.
Yeah, I think if people knew, what their expectation was of what their cost could be from year to year based on, an average or something, I mean, like 2 years ago, we had no snow. And the year before that, we had a bazillion inches. So, I mean, the town really lost out the year before, and a year ago, the town really made out because there was no plowing. But I just think if individually, if people had some way of knowing, worst case scenario, how much their plowing was gonna cost them, rather than say 2 years ago when we had all that snow, when they really would have gotten slammed, just for a budgeting purpose, I guess, for individuals, rather than just getting, blindsided by a huge plowing bill one winter, I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
I like the idea of
Looking out for
at the end of the year,
the.
because I think that's more fair.
What was that, Jesse?
I like the idea of charging at the
At the end of the year?
end of the year.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Because then you're paying for what you get.
What you get, but I'm just trying to look out for people that are, get blindsided by a huge bill at the end of the year, that's all.
And we have all that information of how much time it's been taking them to plow, so we do have that. To provide to
Right.
a high number and low number for budgeting.
Yeah.
Now that you have that documented, you could probably use that for the bill at the end of the year too, then, by the number tax.
For estimating anyway, but
Right.
yeah. But so I guess before we go further, I just thought we would come up with a idea of where we're gonna go, and as long as we're okay with that, we can come up with a plan to attack.
This gives us an opportunity to hear from the people who's, getting plowed by the town now, what they think too and stuff. How they might like to be, but I don't get plowed by the town. So.
Yeah, I think there ought to be some public input into it, we change it, just from the public's point of view, what their feelings are about it, rather than just making a knee-jerk decision on it, I guess.
Yeah, well, we got time, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the plan anyway.
But, yeah, I think it should be looked at, I agree.
Is there anybody on this board that would be willing to research, kind of take charge of this? If you want to come up with your small committee or not, but any volunteers?
Okay. Get in a little deeper here.
All right, we got a volunteer. Thanks, Ken. So,
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah.
so if you want to start looking into that, is this enough for you to have some sort of guideline to start with?
Okay, I need to know how you've been billing. You've been billing by mile? or
No.
feet, or just everybody pays the same rate, or?
No, it's based on, they've kept track of their data for how much time it takes them to plow every driveway. So it's been an estimated estimated through a lot of data, but then they pay a certain amount per year. But it's not the same for everybody. Everybody has their own set amount.
So there's a flat rate plus,
No, it's just a rate that they get charged based on how much is estimated it's gonna take to plow for whole season.
so if we do go to a production cost, you know, if only going to 3 times a year, you would have a reduced cost versus average of 10 times or 15 times. Or we could even consider on demand for these seasonal people that only come up for Christmas and we only get plowed the rest of the year, you know?
Yeah, we don't wanna do that.
No, you can't really just take care of 4 feet of snow
No, you're right.
at a time. We had-
You gotta get the fire truck in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
So and also consider a limit on the number of people.
All right,
Matt and RD would be good resources.
Yeah.
that's where I'm headed tomorrow.
All right, is there anything else on that? All right. We need to appoint two positions to the Parks and Lands Committee. So I am gonna appoint Gina Emily and Steve Rudd. So that's a motion. I make a motion that we approve those appointees.
I'll second that.
The motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. Yes. Appointment to fill one position on the Plan Commission. And I would appoint Mike Mondowak.
Oh, good.
I'll second that one.
The motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. No opposed. We have the issue of the Welcome to Cornucopia sign, which has been blocked by the new power pole. So do you wanna
Yeah.
start that?
We met, the planning commission last Friday and, or excuse me, the Parks and Lands, and, a little history to this. Matt had called me and said that, Excel had, originally said they would be willing to move the sign, the Welcome to Cornucopia sign, that is being blocked basically by the new power pole, turning pole they put on the corner of Superior and 13. And well, then they kind of backed away from that because they didn't want to be liable for moving it. And they said, but we would be willing to, if the town would be willing to move it or arrange to get it moved, we would pay for that or replace the sign. And so we looked at possible relocation locations. And the one that we kind of came up with would be out of the right of way, because right now the sign is in the right of way. And I know we'd probably get some pushback from Wisconsin DOT. And if we could put it on town land, we wouldn't have to deal with that. And the location that seemed preferable was right where Sisquit Parkway comes off of 13 to where the restroom is and the shops. And it would be to the east of that intersection. And similar location, maybe back a ways from where the Halversons have their sign in that area. And back off the right of way. And it wouldn't impact the green space for the volleyball courts. And it just seemed like a fairly good location. Anyway, that was our discussion. So we need input from the board to see what they think of a location like that. Or do they have other recommendations?
Did Excel Energy know, or did you talk to them? Because that would also be in their easement.
The issue is not in their easement. They don't care about that.
Okay.
The only thing is no matter, well, it's gonna be pretty hard to get it out of the state highway right away. But that can be done, I think.
I do have maps if people want to quit, like refresh their memory just where
Yeah,
it's
that would be good.
the DOT setback is.
I know we used to have a sign on it that pointed people towards the downtown.
Yeah.
That would be the only thing, but I don't think we can keep it where it is.
Yeah, if we did, it would have to be moved to the west. But that was actually my comment on, not that it really matters, but that's not cornucopia where it was, but, you know, the village of cornucopia doesn't even barely touch where it is now, but that's why it was there, is the point to cornucopia
Yeah.
village. So-
They moved the highway.
Well, the village actually stopped it before the highway, so if we moved it down to the waterfront, it wouldn't be in the village. That's the issue.
Yeah.
It does go back quite a ways.
Yeah.
It's further back than I thought it was. You see that?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, this shows it better than that. Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad, or the right way went back that far.
I was.
Well, we may have to research this some more. Yeah, I hadn't seen that.
when I had originally talked to, I forget his name from Excel, they said, at that time anyway, they would help us with the permit from the DOT, because and what they found was that sign didn't have a permit associated with it. So that, I think that'd have to be done probably almost no matter where you put it,
Yeah.
if it's gonna be on the highway.
Well, we can do that. This was kind of first blush at it, so, yeah, that's good information.
But you know, actually, I think the town did pay a fee, because I seem to recall a while back, I haven't received anything recently, but the state DOT requesting a fee for a sign in their right of way. I think that was the sign.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, I know I haven't seen anything lately, but we have in the past, I'm almost
Is
positive.
it, just a one-time fee, or was it a?
No, it seemed like about every 3 years, they would come and we would pay them. So I'll look for
We've got the
that too.
contact, you gave me the contact for both sides, so, well, I don't have the one for the DOT, but I'll put it together, so.
And I'll look for that.
Have you got it?
I probably can find it.
Okay.
If we have it, I'll find it.
Just want to table it for now?
Yeah, if you wanna look into that. Yeah, that'd be good. Is there any more input on that? Before we move on? Any more input? All right. Dark skylighting. Dan, do you want to tell us what that's about?
It goes with the hotel kayak rental proposal that came through the 3-bedroom lodging. One of the neighbors was within 300 feet of the kayak operation, requested that they have down-looking lighting attached to the permit or approval. They quoted what we did or the town board did with the campground, requesting that, they have downlighting and dark sky lighting. The same thing with Halverson's having that, so they thought that this would be an ideal time also to bring in the same requirement for that business. To keep the skies from flooded with light, use nothing but downlight. I told her I'd bring it to the town board because I don't know if we have a requirement or the county has a requirement for, dark sky.
I think the county encourages it, but I don't think. there's
Yeah,
anything
and it was,
eliminating it.
yeah. I know they've changed all the street lights to down lights, even REE's changing all the security lights to down light, but I don't know if there's a driver behind that requirement.
Good thing to pursue.
Yeah.
We're gonna approve, the conditional use permit is on the agenda, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that all you wanted to say until we get to the
Yes,
additional?
yeah,
Okay.
I was hoping that, somebody could, have some background history on it, let me know. Because it seemed like when the campground went through, there was a condition to the campground approval. So I don't know if that was a new requirement within the county or not, or the township.
The new campground.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll get back to that when we get down the list. We have a transient merchant application, wilderness inquiry, and we had everything was submitted with their application. Was there any discussion?
Yes, review the packet, there's no state of Wisconsin tax forms or income. I did see one, a waiver from Minnesota for tax-free exemption, but there was nothing as far as Wisconsin business license or tax ID on that request.
Okay, did you get that?
I did, and I believe what it was is their exemption, and they were trying to say that, what was it? Where was the feds? Had said that it was a nonprofit.
Yeah, the exemption is from the state of Minnesota.
Right. I see that.
All right, so we'll table that until I get us the rest of the information. Short-term rental applications. Paul?
Yeah, hi, our committee met and we reviewed the packets for 11 short-term rentals, and one wasn't complete, but the other 10 met all of our requirements. We had to do some calculating about the days, the number of days and things like that, but everybody was real cooperative. So if you want to take them one at a time, or if we can just approve them en masse, I don't know how you want to do that. But
No, if you reviewed and approved them on your end, then we can approve the list with one.
Okay, well, I move that we approve the short-term rental applications A through J on the item number 7 on the agenda.
Could you just read the names?
Sure. Polzen, Illick, Calmateo, Brocker, Wanvig, Martins, Roman, Brown actually should be Olson, that's my mistake, Hovey, and Ogren.
I'm gonna abstain from G.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, the motion is made and seconded with the correction that Brown is Olson. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say aye. One abstain.
Two
Two abstain.
abstain, right?
Yes.
Jesse and Ken abstain from that vote. All right. LC Holdings LLC, Greg Weiss, conditional use permit. Yeah, if you wanna give your comment now on this.
Sure. So the building that the Lost Creek Adventures is in is owned by me. It's a LC Holdings. And it's my understanding that last July, the county updated their ordinances for use permits. And so this is basically an application to keep it the same as it always has been. It's just updating the paperwork. So nothing's changing from the current use. And yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, what's the current use?
No.
Oh, you said any questions, I thought that was up to everyone.
Oh, I don't care what you said, that's enough. It's board time now. Ken, did you guys discuss this at the plan commission?
Yes, we did.
Thanks,
We
Greg.
understood that to be basically what he just said. Bayfield County changed the description. He's trying to comply with the description, and that's when we got into discussion about the night lighting. But we didn't see any reason why he can't, complete. But we do hope that we can, address the night lighting issue also somewhere down the road.
Yeah,
Sorry, no.
okay.
So this is where you want the stipulation of the dark sky lighting.
Right.
You would like to attach that to this conditional use permit?
Yes.
All right.
And the description was given to me as, and basically it's just light bulbs that are out there without shields on them, and they're set on timers. Maybe just put shields over the lights. Yes, down open.
All right, so do you want to make a motion to approve it with that condition?
I make the motion that we approve the application with the condition that they employ lights that are conducive to night sky.
Second.
The motion is made and seconded to approve the conditional use permit with dark sky lighting. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say aye. Did anybody abstain from that one? Okay, everybody voted. We need to set the date for the open book and border review, and that's May 13th. Is that correct?
That is correct.
May 13th, 2025.
And actually, at that time, we'll probably adjourn right away because we will not, the records, or the assessor will not have completed their assessment for the year yet. Generally ends up being in August.
Okay.
So we can buy.
But we don't have to be there.
We don't all have to be there, but we do have to have a certain number present and trained.
And what time is that?
That's gonna be just before our regular board meeting.
Okay.
So we open it and close it, essentially, and we'll adjourn until it process has been completed.
All right, is there any more on that? No. All right, public comment period. Do you have any more public comments?
Yep. So if LC Holdings owns the business and the Lost Creek Adventures will get a transfer merchant permit. So are you gonna make them get one? Yeah, I guess I'll just bring these things up.
Do you have any more comments?
Oh, I'm still commenting. I'll read off all my comments. I'll let you know when I'm done. Okay, Matt? Is that all right with you?
You got
I've also
2
been
minutes.
to
You
a lot
have
of
2
underage-
minutes.
Oh, please don't interrupt my public comment.
You have 2 minutes, John.
No, I have more than that. I have 3 minutes.
No, you don't.
It says here I do the things for violating the Wisconsin Code's conduct again. I've been seeing a lot of underage drinking being served at Ponchos. So I just want to let everyone know I'll be setting up a camera that observes that door with an audible alarm every time I see someone that looks like they're underage. It'll be on public property on my private vehicle, but I just wanted to make you aware that's why there's a camera on Ponchos. I'm done.
All right, thank you. Public comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
On the down lighting, I just wanted to comment that, I don't see Roger now. But when Roger was the chair, he got a grant for us to do some work, a study on Superior Avenue. We were trying to improve Superior Avenue. You may remember the survey had questions about how often you visited Superior Avenue. Well, there were 3 conclusions for that study, and the first 2 are not related, but the third one is, and that was that crosswalks at Highway 13 and Superior Avenue and Jackie Ide worked like crazy to try to get some control of that crossing.
Janice Olson was also part of that.
And that's probably still a live item for us. The second item was bicycle lanes for Superior Avenue and County Road C. And the third item that was the strongest was dark lighting, down lighting for the whole community. The Dark Skies program, just to support what you're proposing there and to indicate that it's still probably a viable option if there are ways to address it. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comments?
I just have one quick one, and it has to do with, what Ken talked about with Healthy Women. And I did talk to Ruth Holstrom, and she was the one that told me that Greg was doing that paperwork just to stay compliant with the county,
Yeah.
with their amendment that was made last July.
Any more public comments? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'd like to make another public comment.
Ken made it.
There's a motion
I'll
to
second.
adjourn.
I'd like to make
And
another public
seconded.
comment.
There's a motion to adjourn that's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say aye. There's no opposed.
Public comments, please, questions? Anything else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, man, I have some public comment. You wanna give me 1 minute or something like that? Are you gonna answer any of my questions? Negative. Are you gonna give me public comment? No. Thank you.